Hey, what's up, guys? It's JP here, Rideshare Orange County. I know it's been a while since I posted a video. Life has been busy. I've been busy with my other gig. As I've mentioned previously, I'm a part-time Uber driver, but went out driving last night, had a really good night. Super busy. Obviously, it's a Saturday, but it seemed extra busy down here at Huntington Beach. They had I think it's the World, what is it? Well, it's the big surfing competition. I'm not a big surfer guy into surfing, but super busy down in Huntington. Got a lot of drives. So I made a few bucks last night. Hope a lot of you who drove last night did also. And making the money I did last night, it got me thinking about how to save money. Now, I haven't changed my own oil in a long time, but I know how to, and I did for years when I was a teenager. When I took shop class, they used to let you just bring your own car into the auto shop at my high school, and on lunch break or even before or after school, you could, arrange with the shop teacher to just pull your car into the shop there, and they would let you use their equipment to do your own oil changes and stuff. So I used to do that, and plus my dad, when I was a teenager, he would always have me help him out to change his oil or do any kind of basic maintenance on his vehicle. He had an old Nissan truck, like a 1989 Nissan pickup, but it was a great truck, and he was really anal about doing the maintenance on that. And for good reason. That truck ran forever, never had any major mechanical issues with it. But, as I got older, I got, a little lazy, and I just started taking my car to the lube place, a Jiffy Lube, and then up until recently, I've been using the Valvoline place. But I always get the synthetic blend, and it was like, like $80 or something like that for a synthetic blend oil change, which isn't crazy bad. I mean, it's not cheap, right? But it's not ridiculous. But the last time I didn't take my personal vehicle, the one I used to drive Uber, which is my Hyundai Tucson 2019 that I just picked up. Our second vehicle, our family vehicle, is Cadillac Escalade. So I take and that's really my wife's car. So yeah, she's not going to let me drive that for Uber. That's her baby. But she drives the Cadillac Escalade as her kind of main vehicle. And so I took it for her to get the oil changed. And they say, well, we don't offer the synthetic blend oil change anymore for whatever reason. I don't know why. They gave me some blah-de-blah about how they don't make synthetic blend anymore for Valvoline, and now you either got to get just the conventional oil or you got to get the full synthetic. And with the full synthetic oil change, it was like $120. And I was like, forget that noise. So when my new vehicle just now came up for its first oil change, I'm like, I'm going to do this myself. Yeah, it's a brand new car. And no, I didn't get any free oil changes from the dealership. I know sometimes when you buy a new car, they'll throw in like the first 3 or 4 maintenances for free. No. So I'm like, I'm going to do this myself. So I went down to AutoZone. I had most of the tools I needed already. All you need is really a decent set of ratchets or wrenches. In most cars nowadays, especially if it's a Japanese car, is going to be a metric. So just make sure you have a decent set of, basic wrenches that have SAE or standard and also metric sizes. So I did that and bought a drip pan and a funnel, and that's pretty much all you need. A drip pan, funnel, oil, and oil filter. Just look up in your owner's manual. Actually, I'm going to link to Chris Fix's video. Chris Fix, if you've never seen his channel, he has a great channel on auto repair, all different subjects. I was going to do like a full-on video on step-by-step on how to do an oil change, but I figured, why redo a video that Chris Fix has done 10 times better? So I'm just going to go ahead and give him a shout-out and link to his page down below, or link to his video down below, his complete guide to doing an oil change. But it's super easy, guys. Anybody with the slightest bit of mechanical ability can do it. It's not like you're changing a motor. You're literally draining the oil out, unscrewing the oil filter, replacing everything. The only thing you really got to watch out for is just be very careful when you replace the drain plug and when you replace the oil filter, that number one, it's not cross-threaded, that you make sure that it's, threaded properly, and make sure that you tighten it. You don't want to like wrench on it as hard as you can because that could strip it out, but you also don't want to just hand tighten it. You want to make sure it's hand tightened and just give it a good little, couple of taps on the wrench just to make sure it's nice and snug and flush, and it's not going to come out when you're driving. I have heard horror stories from several different sources of people going, not changing their oil themselves, but going to like these Valvoline or Jiffy Lube or even to the dealership, getting their oil changed, and they're driving down the road, and all of a sudden their oil pressure gauge kind of light comes on, smoke starts coming out of the engine, and guess what? Their drain plug fell out, all the oil leaked out of the car, and yeah, they just basically welded their engine together and seized it up because they were driving with zero oil in their car. Not a good thing to happen. So yeah, make sure you do. And also, if you are driving in a car, and I don't know if Chris mentioned this in his video, but if you do have like a newer vehicle like me that you're financing, or that's, that you just bought outright, but it is still under some sort of powertrain warranty. Now, to my understanding, from my own research, now that the dealership or the company you're financing it with, or the, Hyundai or whatever, whoever's providing you the warranty, they cannot force you to go get your oil changed at, the dealership or by a professional mechanic. So when I read through my paperwork and stuff, it says that if you do not have the proper tools and knowledge to do the maintenance yourself, then you have to go have it done by a professional technician or whatever. But you're not required to, and it will not void your warranty. As far as I know, check with your own paperwork and with your own the car dealership just to make sure. But you can do the maintenance yourself and not have to worry about voiding the warranty as long as you do it right. Make sure you document everything. Make sure you keep the receipts for the oil you bought, so later on, let's say if something in the engine goes wrong and you have to take it into the dealership, it's a warranty job. They can't say, well, you didn't change the oil right, or you put the wrong oil in it, or you use the wrong oil filter or something like that to try to get out of fixing it. So as long as you use the proper oil, use a proper oil filter, and you do the job right, make sure everything's done properly, you wouldn't have to worry about it. And it's going to save you a lot of money. So I went down to O'Reilly Auto Parts today, and I bought 5 quarts of the proper oil I need for my car. It's 5W30 for $25 on sale. That's full synthetic oil for $25 for 5 quarts. And bought an oil filter, a Wix XP, which is a high quality synthetic or oil filter made for synthetic oil for $10. So that's $35, and that's the whole oil change there compared to taking it to Valvoline where they'd charge me $120. And then on top of that, they would have tried to have upsold me on everything else. Also, make sure you're doing like other regular maintenance on your vehicle, like checking the air filter yourself. You can do that super easy. Just pop the hood. There's usually like a little black box. It'll even usually be labeled air filter. You can just usually pop that open. It's usually not screwed shut. It usually has like a little clamp or a clip on it. Just unclip it. You can pull the air filter out. Look at it yourself. You can see if it's dirty or not. The cabin air filter is a little bit harder to get to, but not hard by any means. It's usually behind the glove box. So usually there's a way once you open the glove box to drop that all the way down, and then you can access the cabin or the cabin air filter. I would check out again Chris Fix's channel, or also Scotty Kilmer. He's another guy who does a lot of automotive repair videos. Both of them have a lot of videos on stuff like that, and it's just so much cheaper to do it yourself than taking it to these lube shops or to the dealership to have them do it, because they're going to charge you an arm and a leg. They're going to charge you probably a minimum. I used to work for Tune Up Masters. There used to be a company called Tune Up Masters. There's a few locations around anymore. I don't know if it's owned by the same company anymore. It's bounced around between different companies. When I worked for it, the company that bought it had just literally bought it from the previous owners, and I think they were trying to sell it again. But anyways, I know for a fact that these auto shops, they mark up any part 30% at least. So if they go to AutoZone and they buy a part for $20, they're going to mark it up 30%. So you're going to probably be paying closer to like, $30 for a part that costs them $20. So if they buy a $10 filter, you're going to be paying $13 for a $10 filter. So it's go buy the $10 filter yourself. It literally pull the old one out, put the old one in. It's that easy most of the time. For basic maintenance, for more serious jobs, like if you need to change belts and stuff like that, you may consider doing it yourself or taking it to a mechanic. They do have a website called alldatadyi.com. Now, if you're not familiar with AllData, and I know I'm running along here, so I'm just trying to make this quick. AllData is like a database that mechanics use. Basically, it gives you step-by-step guide on how to fix almost anything on any car. They don't have some of the newer models on there because the car companies, they don't want to release the data on how to fix a car to non-mechanics for a few years after the car comes out, because it's obviously they're still under warranty for the first few years anyway. So if you buy a 2019 car, the powertrain warranty on it is still going to be good for at least 2 or 3 years. So you don't really have to worry about if it's something major besides basic maintenance does go wrong with it. You can just take it to the dealership and get it fixed. But if you're like my wife's Cadillac Escalade 2013, I go on there all the time. It's like $30 for the subscription, but they literally let me see if I have where did I put that? Is this it? I just had printed something out that I'm going to be fixing. Oh, there it is on my wife's car here. So you can get like full diagrams. Like I need to replace the serpentine belt on my Cadillac there. So you can print out literally the diagram of what everything looks like. And then on top of that, you can print out step-by-step instructions on how to first diagnose it, and then after you diagnose it, on how to fix it. So that's 2 pages long. It goes through stuff like, did you review the drive belt symptom operation and perform the necessary inspection? If yes, go to step 2. And it just goes on and on. It tells you how to exactly to remove the serpentine belt, how to remove the automatic tensioner, how to put the new belt on, what special tools you're going to need, all that kind of stuff. And then even if you don't want to do it yourself, at least it gives you an idea of what it takes to do that. So when you go to a mechanic and they try to tell you, oh, well, we got to rip the engine apart and it's going to be $2,000 to replace that, you can be like, dude, I just went on AllData DIY, and it says that all you have to do is unscrew the automatic tensioner and remove the old belt, put the new belt on, and tighten everything back up. Worst case scenario, you might have to do another 2 bolts and replace the automatic tensioner too. So it gives you a good, knowledge is power, as they say. So if you know what you're talking about, when you go to the mechanic, they can't try to fleece you, because that's happened to me, where they try to say, oh man, well this job, I had a part wrong with my air conditioner. Some mechanic told me it's going to be like $3,000 to fix it. It's like, yeah, we got to rip the whole dashboard apart to get to it. It's the only way to get to it is through the dashboard, and it's never, oh my God. I'm like, forget that. I'm not paying $3,000 to fix that part where the air conditioner was just going click, 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 click. And the air conditioner was still blowing cold. It would just make this weird clicking, clicking, clicking noise all the time. I don't know. Anyways, that was my old car. I got rid of that one. It was a freaking Chrysler. Horrible cars. Don't ever buy a Chrysler. Anyways, so that is my episode for today. I will be putting that link in the video below. Change your own oil. Give it a shot. Don't be afraid. Don't be intimidated. Don't be worried that you're going to void your warranty as long as you do the job right. Again, I'm not, a professional mechanic, so do check with if you're not 100% sure about that, do check with your dealership or check with your warranty paperwork to make sure it doesn't expressly say that, you have to go to the dealership or to an authorized mechanic to get the oil changed in order to keep the warranty intact. But more likely than not, that is not the case, because they can't really force you to go to a mechanic to get basic maintenance done on the car. I mean, the oil has to be changed. It's not something that you can wait on, and it's not something that you should have to go to the dealership to do every single time if you don't want to. And it's something you can do yourself. It's something that's meant to be done yourself. It's something that, was never intended, oh, you have to go to a mechanic every time to do that. It's basic maintenance. Anyways, JP, Rideshare, Orange County, signing off.